Welcome back to the Seeing Red MMA podcast. My name is Dustin. We just are fresh off UFC 298, literally just ended maybe an hour ago. What a fantastic main event. Regardless if you're a Volkanovski fan, if you're a Topuria fan, an amazing finish in the main event. Ilia Topuria knocks out Alexander Volkanovski 3 minutes and some change into the second round with a vicious right hand, a monstrous right hand. It was insane. I had Volkanovski winning the first round. He was definitely very heavy on the, especially the front kick. So from the orthodox stance, throwing the left kick, whether that's to the inside leg of Topuria, the body, bringing it up top. He almost threw that more than anything. It was not set up by anything. It was very fast, and especially when Topuria tried to move forward and Volkanovski's backing up, he takes one step backwards and lifts up that left leg just to let him know it's there. I believe there was some sort of game plan going in, maybe that they could catch him with some sort of kick, whether if he just kind of gets to bait him going down and then bring it up high later into the rounds. Who knows? We didn't get to find out because Ilia Topuria absolutely sparked Volkanovski with a vicious combination. And that's where Volkanovski got into trouble, is because at range, when he was at distance with those kicks, he was safe from the boxing pressure of Topuria. As soon as Topuria got within range, landed a three or four punch combination. I'll have to go back and watch it. It literally just ended, so I'm still hyped up. I was checking my heart rate on my Apple Watch earlier just to see what it was during the whole main event. I tipped out at like 115 as a resting heart rate just because of how anticipated and amped up I was for that main event, and man, did it deliver. I'm a Volkanovski fan. I wanted him to win, but hey, he didn't lose a controversial split decision. Definitive one-punch KO. If you're going to lose, it sucks to see Volkanovski go and get knocked out back-to-back fights between Makhachev and now Topuria. But hey, there's no questions as far as it. It wasn't controversial. It wasn't doctor stoppage. He got flatlined. So, very definitive. Nothing I can do about it here. Your new champion is Ilia Topuria. Man, is he good. His boxing is so lethal, and he's so calm in there. I know Volkanovski's calm as well, too, which, he always has been. He's the featherweight champion of the UFC. He's been there, done that, another day at the office. I expected him to go into there very calm. But Topuria, first UFC title fight, going against the consensus greatest featherweight of all time, number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and he looked just like a stone-cold killer. No emotion on his face, went out there and did what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to knock out Volkanovski. I know he did say he was going to knock him out in the first round, but hey, a knockout's a knockout. If it happens in the first round in the first 30 seconds or the last round in the last 30 seconds. If you spark someone out cold and there's no answers to be, or if there's no questions to be answered, hey, you did your job. That's what you're supposed to go out there and do, and he did his damn job. Again, this computer's going to keep on doing that until someone leaves a comment on how to fix this. But regardless of that, this fight card was actually a fantastic card. There was a couple of duds here and there, but overall, I give this card an A. Not an A+, because of some of the sleepers on the card. Some of the fights were a little bit boring. We'll get to that. But overall, very entertaining card, especially the pay-per-view portion. The main card, fantastic. But, yeah, man, Topuria is a bad, bad man. He's got nukes for hands. If you follow me on Twitter, I immediately tweeted that after the fight because it's real. Jai Herbert, Ryan Hall, Damon Jackson, they all felt his power and were put out cold. And now you can add Volkanovski to that list. That's 4 dudes he has put unconscious with single strikes. Now Ryan Hall, more ground and pound, no here, there. And even Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett's just way too damn tough, apparently. But I'm honestly a little bit speechless right now because it was such a violent knockout. And I didn't think I was going to see Volk on the end of that kind of knockout, especially at his normal weight class. Up at lightweight, assalamu alaikum. You got your Justin Gaethjes, you got your Dustin Poiriers, you got your Makhachevs, your Oliveras. They're bigger than them. They weigh more than him. I could, especially after the Makhachev kick, I could see him getting sparked again if he was to be up at lightweight. Not back down at home base. Home base, he's supposed to be safe. He's supposed to be the king in that division. Not anymore. This Matador from Spain went in there and did what he said he was going to do. Now, I mean, we talked about the Conor McGregor comparisons with him taking the belt off the press conference table. Even some of his tattoos could be correlated to Conor. But the most important thing that you can say as far as being related to Conor is this victory, going out there and knocking out the consensus best featherweight of all time. Conor did it when the best featherweight of all time was Jose Aldo. Now Ilia Topuria did it. And funny enough, Ilia Topuria called out Conor McGregor in his post-fight interview, which do I think is going to happen? Absolutely not. I don't think the UFC would want to do that. They don't want to, because, I mean, there's just so much risk for Conor to fight a guy who just got the belt. Even though there is a lot of hype around him, he is very exciting. It's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. So I do not believe they will make that fight ever, unless some unforeseen reason they give Conor the biggest bag of all the bags, which he's probably already gotten. So I don't know. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But yeah, what an amazing fight. What an amazing ending. I mean, I feel for Volk. Been a Volk fan forever. Seeing him go out like that does hurt. But also, hey, I mean, we watch this sport for a reason because it's violent and it's entertaining. Sometimes the entertaining part is the violence, and that violence is going to happen to your favorite fighter a couple of times throughout your viewing process, I guess is what you would say. I don't know. But it's going to happen eventually, whether if it's your least favorite fighter getting sparked or your favorite fighter getting sparked. Father Time beats everybody, and unfortunately, that remains a statistic. No one in the men's divisions in the UFC over 35 is able to retain their belt. It's just a fact. It's literally a number you can point to. Now Volkanovski is part of that stat, and yeah. It was sad to watch, but I'm happy for Topuria. Now we get a fresh face in the division. Now, who do we think Topuria gets next? I don't know. I don't think Topuria rematches Volkanovski. If I was him, I wouldn't, especially if you just one-punch the champion like that. I don't think that necessarily deserves a rematch because if you get sparked like that in one round, you got to get at least another fight under your belt just to prove, like, hey, that was a mistake. It just shit happens. You get clipped. Who does he fight to get to the rematch? That's a question in and of itself. But if I was a UFC, money makes sense. Do it in Spain, rematch, maybe later this year. Who knows? Who knows if the same result happens again, or maybe Volkanovski wins the belt back, which would be a amazing feat in and of itself. But regardless of that, we are talking about tonight. Some of the future, not that far down the line because we don't even know if that's a possibility. Post-fight press conference hasn't even started yet, so I haven't even watched that. I don't even know what they have to say. But all I know is that Ilia Topuria is everything he said he was. He is good on the feet. He has amazing boxing, punches and bunches, and crisp combinations with accuracy. And we just saw it all unfold tonight. Even though that first round definitely went to Volk, in my opinion. I saw some people saying they gave it to Ilia. I don't know what you're smoking, but hey, he ended up winning anyway. So if you're a Topuria fan, congratulations. I am also a Topuria fan, more Volk than Topuria, but you can't argue with great performances like that. So we'll move on. The co-main event, Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. Robert Whittaker defeats Paulo Costa by decision. What a entertaining fight that was. That first round was, man, that wheel kick Paulo Costa landed with the heel right across the face of Robert Whittaker. If that happened earlier in the round, we might not even be talking about the decision. He might have gotten the finish, but luckily for Rob, if it was to land, it landed at the perfect time. 10 seconds left in the first round. Didn't have enough time for Paulo to actually go out there and try and get the finish. Robert Whittaker is a dog. He went out there. He was going to war with Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa doing Costa things, sticking his tongue out, egging him on, telling him to get to the center. Robert Whittaker obliged them at some points, was sitting in the pocket, throwing the straight rights with the left hooks, threw a couple of high kicks as well too. Fantastic, entertaining fight. Really, really fun. Loved watching it. Definitely Whittaker deserved the win. Title shot worthy against Costa? Probably not. If Costa was to land that wheel kick earlier and knock him out, 100% title shot, give him Dricus. I don't give a shit. Whittaker, give him Sean. Sean Strickland versus Robert Whittaker, number one contender, fights the winner of Dricus versus Adesanya. There. Easy. Set in stone. I'm not even going to talk about who I think Sean Whittaker, who wins in that one, because it's not important right now. But Whittaker, man, I was saying to my friend while I was at his place watching it, I thought Whittaker in the beginning, I was like, I mean, Costa's kind of putting the pace on him. And also, before I get too deep into it, Costa, kudos to you for making the fight. Now that petition that everyone signed where they said if Costa pulls out of UFC 298, it's a petition to kill him. We don't have to kill you now. You made it to the fight. It was an amazing fight. I would say probably fight of the night. Congratulations. You did a fantastic job. You were always entertaining and you were a fan favorite for a reason. I'll probably be sipping on some secret juice here in a bit, so kudos to you, my friend. But Robert Whittaker, though, he is the man. He is the fucking man. Bobby Nux has been around forever. Former champion. He's fought the who's who. And he's only lost to champions. He's only lost to Adesanya and Dricus. They're both champions now. So, yeah, that in and of itself is a feat of its own. So, I mean, he's older. I know he's only 33 years old, so he's not quite that old yet. But, I mean, he's kind of getting a little bit outside of his prime. So, we'll see how much longer he has left. I think he's maybe got one more title run in him before he calls it a day. But, hey, I'm here for the long ride. Paulo Costa, on the other hand, I think he should fight Hamzat. If they don't reschedule Hamzat, or if Hamzat doesn't take that fight, Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier versus Costa, you can't tell me that's not going to be a striker's delight. That will be a barn burner. That will be fantastic. Costa pushing the pace, Cannonier with the power and just the accuracy with his jab, his leg kicks, all of the above. I mean, that's a no-brainer to me. I would rather see Cannonier versus Costa than Hamzat versus Costa. I think that's the move already. But, hey, I'm not a matchmaker. We'll see what they do. Fight just ended, so like Dana always says, they don't make fights on the night of the fights, so we'll move on. Iangarry versus geofneal was kind of boring. Yeah, I had Iangarry. First round was very close. I give the slight edge to Iangarry just because, I mean, he just looked a little bit more active and his elusiveness just made it to where geofneal looked like he was missing more than maybe he actually was. Second and third round, definitely Garry. Hey, Garry, stop high-fiving your fighter or your opponent in the cage. And geofneal, stop high-fiving him back. If he reaches out his hand for a dap, smack that shit out of the way. You're there to fight. Dap up after the fight. Hug after. Kiss after. After all, I don't give a shit. But when you're in the fight. All right? You're not friends at that very moment. You're there to beat each other up. You're there to knock each other out. So go in there and do what you were paid to do. Yeah? I think geofneal I think the length, the elusiveness, the speed, the accuracy, I think it just really played a big part into geofneal really not being able to get any combinations off. There were some moments where geofneal was able to land and get his punches going, but it may have looked like punches landed flush, but Garry is very good with the defense. He leans back, hands out, so he's really good at just keeping the distance away and stopping your forward momentum. Also with the face turns as well too, and just the overall knowing where he needs to exit, knowing his angles and things like that. Yeah, Iangarry definitely won that fight. I thought his post-fight speech was great. He's like, hey, 26 years old, I'm undefeated. Like, I'm out here living my dream. You guys can boo all you want. I have a great life. I'm happy. hey, he's happy. I'm happy for him. Kudos to you, man. I actually really liked that post-fight speech. I thought that was really good. So, good job, Garry. You did good in the post-fight speech. Pick up the pace a little bit more. I don't know who they give him next. I know he called out Colby. Yeah, let's pump the brakes on that. Yeah, because after this fight, mixed with Colby, yeah, I don't think Colby's taking that fight either. A long, rangy, 6'3" young striker. Nah. They should punish Colby by giving him Bilal. I digress. Henrycejudo lost to Merab via unanimous decision or split decision. I don't remember. I just know it's a decision. Yeah, Merab. That first round was a little rocky. Got caught with that left hook, stumbled a little bit. But after that, I mean, I think it was just the overall cardio. The wrestling edge, when Cejudo had more in the gas tank as far as he was able to step on the gas more, he had the better cardio. It was just a little bit more pep in his step. His wrestling was more effective. But once he kind of gassed out a little bit more and got a little bit slower and tireder, Merab definitely took over and basically just does what Merab does. I mean, Merab's getting a title shot. Winner of Cheeto versus Sugar, it's Merab. That's a 10-fight win streak. You have to give it to Merab. Have to. You may not be a fan of Merab. I'm not the biggest fan. I find him funny. He is actually funny compared to Henry Cejudo. He does make me laugh on his Instagram. So, hey, there's a bonus. As far as his fighting style, not really the biggest fan. Yes, it is high-paced, but a lot of stalling up against the cage and things like that. I digress. Cejudo should retire, though. I mean, he's 37 years old at 135, back-to-back losses, both by wrestlers, which is supposed to be his department. Even though he did show signs of greatness, especially in the wrestling department with the switches and things like that and the scrambles, his striking looked good, but man, if you lost to Aljamain, the former champ, and now Merab, the number one contender, who are you going to fight next? You going to fight Corey? A long, rangy striker? You going to fight Corey? I mean, what happens if you beat Corey? You just lost the number one contender and the former champion. You're not going to get a title shot off that. I mean, I think it's time just to hang it up. It sucks to say that because I am a Cejudo fan, but man, he really didn't do himself any justice by taking those years off, that hiatus after he beat Dominic Cruz. Those were his prime years, those prime money-making years. And I mean, I know Jan was right there to get the belt. Aljamain was right there, but who knows? During that time, while he was still a little bit younger and still pretty much fresh, I mean, who knows? He could have been champ for a lot longer, but I don't know why he did that. I talked about it yesterday on the last episode, but yeah, not something I would advise is to basically bounce at your peak. That doesn't seem like a smart move, but hey, his life, not mine. Who knows what he had going on? I'm not going to make any assumptions. Anthonyhernandez is really good. Yeah. Anthonyhernandez is a dog. I thought Kopylov was going to go out there and just body kick or body punch TKO him. Anthonyhernandez he's called Fluffy for a reason. And I mean, he does kind of have a more doughy frame, especially for 185. He's not absolutely shredded or anything like that, but damn is his grappling good. Gets the second round submission over Roman Kopylov. While he had the choke in, he's looking at the camera going, nodding back and forth, which, hey, that's one way to win fans over. It's just, that's a meme in and of itself, so good job on that one. Give him a main event. Brendan Allen. Sure, why not? Give him somebody like that. Give two guys on a win streak. Winner moves on, fights a top 5 guy. They're both on really long win streaks. I don't know what Brendan Allen's win streak is. Anthony Hernandez 5-fight win streak. Probably give Brendan Allen the edge just because ground game pretty similar. Striking, give Brendan Allen the edge on that one. But Mackenzie Dern sucks. I know she had a great performance as far as showing her toughness. And when it went to the ground, she definitely was the more dominant fighter. but you cannot be considered a high-level mixed martial artist in the top 10 of your division and strike like that. She was getting pieced up. This is back-to-back fights where she was just walking forward with her chin up in the air. She literally ran into a right hand against Lemos. Ran into it. Fix your striking. I don't know if you got to go spend time with Trevor Whitman. You got to go up with fucking Longo. Where you got to go. But you need to fix that striking. It is a detriment to your career, and it will continue to be a detriment to your career until you get it taken care of. There was maybe one good shot that she landed, just an overhand right, and I don't even think it landed on Lemos. I think it kind of skimmed past her face and landed on her shoulder. You need to get your shit together because you are a top talent in the UFC and your striking is abysmal. Okay? I know I sound like I'm being hard on Mackenzie Dern, but let's have standards if you're in the rankings. If you are a top 10 UFC fighter, no matter what division you are in, my standards for you are going to be higher than ones that are going to be on the early prelims that are unranked, a la Miranda Maverick, Andrea Lee, those kind of girls. They had better striking than you, and Miranda Maverick beat number 15. Andrea Lee's probably going to get cut, if I had to guess, and Miranda Maverick's striking looked okay. I don't want to harp on that one. Amandalemos wins the unanimous decision. Junior Tafa got kicked in the leg and fell down. That's basically what happened. Balls on that dude for taking a fight on 24 hours notice for his older brother. Kudos to him. That was cool. But, hey, number 15, it's your second fight in the UFC, 24 hours notice, no time to prepare, leg kick TKO, basically. Need I say more? Danny Barlow got a TKO victory over Josh Quinlan. Danny Barlow needs to learn how to not poke people in the eyes, so that would be cool. What else? Val Woodburn is a ball of muscle, and when he gets hit with something, he just says, fuck it, I'm just going to throw with all of my power. And, hey, it worked a little bit, but no ground game whatsoever. I'm surprised that's how Bo Nickel beat him was in the stand-up, because if, in hindsight, you would have thought Bo Nickel would just ragdoll them for 3 rounds. But, nope. Val Woodburn is not UFC caliber. And we already talked about Miranda Maverick, but, yeah, fantastic night of fights. I give it an A. Finishes, fight of the nights, wars, new champion. I mean, UFC 298 was one for the books. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Man, Ilia Topuria is the man. Ilia Topuria is the man. He walked the walk and he talked the talk. How many other rising prospects can you say are out there that do that? I mean, in time we'll see what iangarry can do, but nobody's getting finishes on their rise like Topuria was. I know his fight with Emmett wasn't a finish, but might as well have been because those were multiple 10-8 rounds against one of the top featherweights in that division. And he one-punched Volkanovski into another dimension, which is just, it's just crazy. Yeah. I mean, Topuria is headed for great things. He's going to be doing a lot. That Spanish market, whoo! Now, if I had to make a prediction, I think I mentioned this later, or yesterday, next weekend we got Ortega versus Yair. Winner of that might get a title shot against Topuria if they don't do the Volkanovski rematch. Might see that one in Spain, and your Spanish-speaking market is going to be on fire. 2 guys who are good on the mic, that both their native languages are Spanish, both on different sides of the world, one in Spain, the motherland, the other one from Mexico, the other motherland. 2 strikers, but different styles of strikers, kick heavy versus boxing heavy. That's a war. That's a fight I'd like to watch. The edge I give on that one, I have no idea. Probably give it to Topuria just based off recency bias. I mean, I have no reason to doubt Topuria now. He just knocked out the number 1 featherweight of all time. And number 2 pound for pound. Need I say more? I digress. UFC 298 was fantastic. UFC 299 is coming up. Get a video out for that one as well too when it comes around. But yeah, fantastic night of fights. If you like the video, make sure to like and follow. And if you know how to fix this computer thing where it keeps going into sleep mode while I'm doing these videos, because I'm very cheap and I'm not going to build a set or anything like that in my apartment, I'm just going to keep doing this. Fuck it. I don't care. Whatever. It's just a nice little added background rather than just having a black TV behind me. Leave something in the comments. Let me know how I fix that. That'd be pretty cool if you happen to know. Other than that, that is it. Till next time. See ya. I'm probably going to go back and rewatch this fight, that knockout. I'll probably watch it 1,000 times before I go to sleep tonight. I don't care. I'll do it. Don't test me. All right. Till next time. Bye.